everybody. This is Douglas Block. It is now March 4th, 2018. What do they say? March comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb. At least in New York it does. But I'm in Portland, Oregon. So we're having, I won't say spring weather, but it's 50 degrees. Crocuses are coming out. The birds are out. A very mild, temperate climate, which is why I like to live here. Anyway, it's now 36 seconds after the hour, and hopefully we'll get some people tuning in. Testing 1, 2. It should be okay. So, still waiting for our first person to come in. And we are public as far as I know. Yes, now we have 8 people. 1JE24, I got your email and I responded to it. Can you hear me okay? Hello. I've been well, but I want to know if you guys can hear me based on the mic that I'm using. Hi, N to F. Again, I'm just doing a sound check. It's buzzing now. Wow. Let me just check it out now. Okay. We should be okay. How is the mic sound now? Hey, Sisyphus. Yes, I just went ahead and gave you a nice compliment. How's the mic going now, guys? How's the sound? Let me know. Much better. Okay, it's fine. Thank you. Rasmus, yes, it's okay now. Thank you. I just adjusted the microphone. And Sisyphus wins. You made a lovely comment on my new video. He never gives up, and so will your viewers. I love your term, and I love what you wrote on my comments in the comments section. I came up with a new video. I went ahead and I posted a new video. I published a video on Monday called "Do Spiritual People Get Depressed?" What's going on with your brain, Doug? And I cannot believe the outpouring of support. I won't say support, but all the positive comments that have been left on that video. The theme of the video was, if you're spiritual, if you're on a spiritual path and you get depressed, you're not weak, you're not spiritually weak, you haven't done anything wrong, it's not that you're not praying hard enough, it's that people on the spiritual path get tests, and going through the dark night of the soul or overcoming a challenge is part of the process of spiritual growth. Volume is low now. Well, let me know if it stays low, okay? Let me turn this up just a little bit. There we are. That should be better. Okay. How is this now? Any better, guys? Is the mic any better now? Okay, great. Just let me know what the how the volume is. I want to get some feedback. I don't really see it on my monitor. Much better. Okay, great. Thank you, Mark. Anyway, before I've answered Rasmus's question, my birthday was the week before last, and one of my good buddies, a guy named Wellington, he's 5 years old. He gave me a book called Laugh Out Loud for Kids, Jokes for Kids, and I call him Duke because the Duke of Wellington defeated Napoleon at Waterloo, and I'm going to start reading these jokes in just a minute. Actually, I'll read the first one now, even though I dropped the book. All right, guys, you ready for this? Here we go. Dedicated to Wellington. Why can't you play hide and seek with mountains? Because they're always peeking. All right, the first of many jokes to come from this book. All right. Hi, Elizabeth, Dawn Elizabeth. Hi, Denise White, N to F, Karen Griffiths. Nice to see you. Mark Chan. Okay. So what's the question that you want to ask? Rasmus A. I don't want to go into details. Maybe I can think of an analogy which can close to my situation. Okay. Erasmus A. You can always send me an email if the question is too intense to be shown here. Anyway, we have 15 people watching. It's 5 minutes after the hour. Time for a second joke from this book, dedicated to Wells. Why did the robber wash his clothes before he ran away with the loot? Why did the robber wash his clothes before he ran away with the loot? He wanted to make a clean getaway. All right, no one's laughing. Okay, I'll say one more from this book. What is a baby's favorite reptile? I didn't know that babies even knew what reptiles were. They don't have much of a vocabulary, but what is a baby's favorite reptile? A rattlesnake. Okay. Hi, Rasmus. Hi, Elizabeth. Dawn Elizabeth. Where are you from? Are you from America or the UK? So many people come here from the UK. I know that N to F is from Ireland. So I'm going to kind of relax here. Oh, Karen gives us that haha. All right, someone likes the joke. Excellent. Well, I'm going to chew my gum here and wait for someone to ask some questions. Except this is not my gum. Dawn Elizabeth is saying hello to everybody. 1JE, to Douglas, to Rasmus. Chris Higgins, hard situation to get out of. Have you Valium or Xanax? What did Chris Higgins say? I must have missed it. It must have come really quickly. Feeling rough today, says one Cooler Lou. Tearful, depressing, really, despairing, really. Well, that will go away. Chris Higgins, hard situation to get out of. Have you Valium or Xanax? And if I don't see a comment by Chris Higgins, so maybe you could elaborate. Liverpool, UK, excellent. I love the UK. Uh-oh, here comes 1J with a bad pun. I can't believe it. What sort of music does Cheese listen to? R&B. Oh my God. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm gonna copy that. Dawn Elizabeth, holidays aren't easy. How to deal with them? Well, what holidays are we talking about, Dawn Elizabeth? But oh, he's drinking yesterday. Well, I have a lot of people in my support groups, N to F, and they go to AA meetings. That really helps. Dealing with holidays, try to tell yourself that you're okay. Are you saying like you don't have family around during holidays? Try to stay in contact with someone you care about. Remember your self-care, exercise regularly, get proper sleep, eat well, do a lot of self-care when the holidays are around. I love these jokes. Okay, Mark Chan, thank you. Appreciate them. So Enda, are you in contact with Chris Higgins? Are you friends with his? You could recommend. There's so many treatment programs out there in America. I'm assuming the UK also. All right. Flex Yard, I haven't seen you before in this live chat. Hello to you. Flex Yard says hello. So, what am I going to post tomorrow, publish tomorrow? Remember, every Monday at 7 a.m. Pacific time. I've been doing this for 5 straight years now. We have over 250 videos, including the live chats, close to 300. This is, by the way, our 50th live chat. So in celebration, if somebody here becomes a Patreon supporter, there's my Patreon login. I will send you a free copy of When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, right here. My memoir of overcoming depression, my worst episode 20 years ago, and it's still, I think, really pertinent. So the video that I'm uploading tomorrow is called Lost Connections, Does Society Make You Depressed? And 20 years ago, in the back of this book, When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, I did a piece called The Social Causes of Depression. It was my thesis back in 1998 that the culture, American culture, Western culture, has a big input or is a big factor in people getting depressed. I love the videos, watch most of them. Okay, Flex Yard, well, you might want to become a Patreon subscriber. Or not subscriber, but yeah, if you go ahead and go to this website, you can become a sustaining member of this channel. Starting at only $2 a month, you can help support us so we can continue to make these high-quality videos. And as says, I don't know, Chris, I don't drink anymore. I would suggest anyone with depression. I would suggest anyone with depression that drinks too much to stop totally. Absolutely. Alcohol is a depressant that makes depression worse. 1J says, I can't remember if I told you this joke. I had to break up with my girlfriend remote. She was too controlling. Yeah, no, I got she was a waitress, yet she brought nothing to the table. I already got that one. Thank you very much. What are your views on acceptance when it comes to anxiety? Well, there's something called ACT. I'll write it right down here. It's called Acceptance and Commitment Therapy. So the first step in changing anxiety or changing depression or any mental health issue is to accept where you are at the moment. And that is incredibly important, because until you accept where you are, you can't take the next step. Now, accepting doesn't mean that you're okay with it or that you approve it. It just means this is my reality right now. This is where I am in the here and now. And now what do I do? And that's where the C in commitment comes from. Make a commitment to do something. So yes, I think acceptance is very important. Hey, Leanne, one of my favorite commenters, always around. Love your comments. 1J, I drink and it's difficult to overcome. This isn't a joke. No. Are you kidding me? I know so many people with depression and anxiety who drink alcohol in order to medicate. And it's not easy. But we have a gal who I'm going to be meeting with in a couple of hours. Actually, I'm going to be posting on 1JE24. And I'm going to be doing a video called Back from the Brink, about a young lady from my depression support group who had to overcome both manic depression and drinking, and how she did it. She's coming to my house in a couple of hours to pick up a video called My Name is Bill W. So if you want to learn about how people can work on depression and alcoholism at the same time, please tune into this video. It will be posted probably not this Monday, to 2 weeks from this Monday. So what is that? This is the 5th, the 9th, probably the 26th of March. Yeah, and will you send me an email reminding me to contact you when this video comes up? The same thing with you, 1JE24, Jacob. I would love to send this video to you when it is posted. It's an interview with a client of mine who 4 years ago stopped drinking and has been working on her sobriety and her mental health wellness ever since. It's an inspiring story, and I want the two of you to see it, or everybody else who's ever had problems with substances, not just drinking cocaine. I have a guy in my men's group who's been depressed for a while, whose cocaine has been his drug of choice. What are my thoughts on the therapeutic use of psychedelics? There's a lot of research being done on that, Mark Chan, and some of it is quite provocative. I have a long-distance client. Well, no, there are, Mark Chan, you're wrong. There are universities in the United States that have permission from the federal government to conduct tests on the therapeutic effect of psychedelics. And there's a man back east, used to be my client, and he takes microdoses of psilocybin, and he says it helps him his anxiety. Now, of course, I'm not a doctor, and I am not at all prescribing or suggesting that people take psilocybin. I'm just saying that research is being done in the United States illegally, and there's some good results. And if you ever thought of doing that, you should, try to find someone who's legally allowed to prescribe, and make sure you're doing it under very controlled circumstances. Denise, definitely no alcohol. If my hubby drinks and he suffers by anxiety, he always has a dip, feels very depressed and suicidal afterwards. Yes, what goes up must come down. Karen Gibbs says, I'm learning self-compassion to help with my anxiety and depression. Karen Gibbs says, there's actually a book. It's called Self-Compassion. You should get it out of the library. It's excellent. And I have a video called Forgive Yourself for Your Mistakes. Sorry about the typos. Big No has bouts with drinking. Check out his channel. Of course, Mark Calloway. He's been struggling with a recent bout of alcoholism in the last month or so. He actually asked me to make a video for his channel. Hello, everybody. Anna Scissors. Nice to see you. Rasmus, I have a situation still out of my control, but it can't be surrendered. And what does it say here? It made me consider suicide. I'm not sure what to do. What do you recommend? I can't recommend anything, Rasmus, unless I know what you're dealing with. I can recommend one thing: don't take your life. Reach out for support, call a suicide hotline, get into therapy, get under psychiatric care. That's what I can recommend. Take care of yourself, because whatever you're going through now will be overcome and will pass. What are some small things you can do to become self-compassionate? Just tell yourself, I'm doing the best I can, Dawn Elizabeth. I'm doing the best I can. 1J24 says, I always make sure I watch your videos. Noah's fantastic when it comes to addiction and mental health. Of course, he's dealt with it. Absolutely. He knows the territory. Unfortunately, I've never been an alcoholic or drug addict. Otherwise, I'd have a lot to say about it. But I do have a few things to say about it. And that is alcohol and drugs and depression do not mix. Alcohol and drugs and anxiety do not mix. So please get into recovery from your substance abuse if you have it, and continue working on your mental health. Dawn Elizabeth says, hi, Anna Scissors. Hello to both of you. David Starkweather, my favorite. Did you hear they found the gene for shyness? They would have found it a lot earlier, but it was hiding behind another gene. That's pretty good. I don't remember who's the author of the self-compassion book, Karen Griffiths. You're one of my Patreon supporters, I think. Send me an email, I'll give it to you. Or just look up self-compassion on Amazon. I referred to it in my talk on forgiveness. Are we ready for another joke, ladies and gentlemen, from this book that was given to me? Can I find something interesting? What kind of balls don't bounce? What are they? I thought all balls bounce. Well, what kind of balls don't bounce? Eyeballs. That wasn't too great, was it? Let's find another one here. I should have had these things marked before. Uh-oh. Why did Jimmy's parents scream when they saw his grades? Because he had a B, B-E-E, on his report card. All right. Yeah, Karen, you can find the author. You wanted me to look it up on my iPhone? No, I don't want to take my attention away. Get out your smartphone, put in Self-Compassion Book. You got the author immediately. I love your jokes. Who wants some chocolate puns? Oh, my God. David, that's a good one. What do you call a Filipino contortionist? A Manila folder. Oh, my God. Of course, people have to know that Manila is the capital of the Philippines. Otherwise, they wouldn't get that. But I appreciate it, Mark Chan. Thank you. The jokes are coming fast and furious. Do you know that there's a part of your brain called the nucleus accumbens right up here that is the pleasure center? And when someone laughs at a joke, they activate the same chemicals, dopamine, that they do when they do something like cocaine. So if you laugh hard enough and frequently enough, you won't even crave drugs to get you high, because laughter is its own high. Don't you think? If I had time, I would play for you the opening scene of Annie Hall. He tells this joke, which I don't know, only certain people would really get this joke, but I'll tell it to you anyway. Two old women are having lunch in the Catskills. It's a resort in upstate New York. One of them says, the food here is terrible. And the other one says, yes, in such small portions too. I'll say it again. The food here is terrible. Yes, in such small portions too. Right? If the food is terrible, why is she complaining about the small portions, right? Anyway, that's irony for you. Why is it jokes lose some of their funny? Well, yes, I agree. I shouldn't have explained it, but I felt like it. They're out of this world and the galaxy far away. Don't shout. Yes, you told us about the Mars bars jokes, 1J24. Leon, do you think they should give people with mental disorders brain scans? Well, yeah. There is somebody who does it, but it costs money. What is his name? So look him up on the internet. Leanne, Daniel Amen has done hundreds of thousands of brain scans on people with depression. Scott Power from Seattle, or is it Vancouver? Nice to hear from you, Scott. I got to take some kind of, I'm coughing again. My asthma's acting up. Sorry, guys. Someone repeat Mark Ted's joke. It's very funny. What did the cannibal say after he ate a clown? Tastes funny. Very good. Okay. So Leanne, brain scans of people with brain disorders are already being done. Well, let me put it this way, Leanne. Even if someone took a brain scan of you and said, yeah, the brain up here shows you're depressed, you already know that, right? The question is, what are you going to do about it? That's the question. David Starkweather, I don't see how brain scans have any therapeutic value on one-on-one level. That's what I was just saying, David. I agree with you. Maybe big studies, but a scan of my brain tells me nothing about how to deal with it. David Starkweather, did I not just say the same thing? You and I think alike. Doug, the steam room might help your cough. Yes, actually. This is because I rode up Rocky Butte in the cold yesterday and it aggravated my asthma. Chewing gum helps, but thank you, one Claire Lou. If you have a database of scans and treatments, you eventually have a body of evidence to treat more effectively than guess. Well, I think so. No, it's going to pass. I guess without an analogy, it's not possible to imagine my situation. So Rasmus, why don't you write me? Send me an email here. Right here. DouglasBlock@gmail.com, Rasmus. Send me an email. Let me know what you're going through. I'll give you some feedback. Hi, Ruby. Ruby Aaron, I haven't heard from you before. Have you been on this live chat before? Anna says, I'm planning on going on a 2-month leave of absence from work to take care of myself. I'm clinically depressed, cannot function. Diabetes is bad. Well, exercise and good food will help your diabetes, Anna says. And in terms of depression, do you have my book, Healing from Depression, 12 Weeks of Better Mood? Right over here. You can get it from the library or store. I have a 12-week self-directed recovery program that you can use. There's so many tools and techniques for healing depression. When you're off work, you'll get a chance to use them. Does fighting anxiety, panic only fuel more? Yes. Think of it, when your anxiety comes, it's like you're surfing and the wave is coming towards you, and just surrender to it and ride the wave. Don't try to fight against it. You also might take some Klonopin too. 1G, I got high the other day and got the munchies. My friend told me yesterday he didn't like chocolate bars. I thought he's lying. All right. Ruby Aaron, no, I have just joined for the first time. Well, nice to meet you, Ruby Aaron. Feel free to ask any question you want. I'm a wealth of information. Anna says I'm a teacher, so I guess 2 months will do it. Then it's summertime. Nice work. What do you teach? What level? What grade level, Anna Scissors? Elementary, middle school, high school, college, community college? Yeah, well, I'm not going to take medications because they put me on 2 antipsychotic drugs that could have caused my overdoses. They misdiagnosed me, so I guess these psychiatrists need more training. Well, mental health diagnosis and art, not a science, Leanne. So what's your current diagnosis? Sometimes it takes a while for them to find the right diagnosis. Mark Hoffman, Nathan introduced me to you. I don't know who Nathan is. I think you mean Noah, Mark Hoffman. Is that who you're referring to? I've enjoyed your videos. I think you must be referring to Noah. Yes, he's okay. He's got a sponsor. He's going to AA meetings. He's still struggling, but he is. I met with him 2 weeks ago, and he is doing the best he can to take care of himself. Night Stalker, Extreme God, I haven't heard from you either. Mike Bordner, my goodness. God, you haven't been on this for a while. In stressful situations, can medication help when anxiety leads to shaming one's self due to low self-esteem? Well, the best thing to do when you're shaming yourself is to go ahead and immediately stop your self-talk and say, I'm a good person. I'm okay the way I am. I don't know if medication will do anything there, but if you're anxious, taking something like a Klonopin or an Ativan could calm you down. But self-talk, shaming, is something you have to respond up here with your words and your thoughts. Leanne, it's not an exact science, says about diagnosis. David Stargirl, so they don't know you. You might be giving them conflicting signals. Pearly Bonda says hello. Mike Bordner, did I answer your question about using self-talk to deal with low self-esteem? Mark Calloway says, I think the more that you try to bring anxiety on, it will go away. It's reverse psychology type thing with yourself, okay? I don't know if you try to bring it on, Mark C. I've never tried doing that. Past the breakers. Nice to see you, True Seeker 1515. All the gang is here. Hail, hail, the gang's all here. What the heck do we care? I think that's the song. Anyone can sing it for me? I take English in middle school. No wonder why you're having a nervous breakdown. Oh, you love the 5th and 6th graders? 8th graders kill me. Yeah, well, I agree. My favorite time in elementary school. See, when I grew up, they didn't have middle school. It was elementary school, 1 to 6, junior high school, 7, 8, high school, 9 through 12. So I love 5th and 6th grade. Yeah, 8th graders can be very tough. I taught you that, Mark Calloway? Well, I never knew I told you to bring the anxiety on, the more it will go away. I thought I said just accept it and don't resist it. Mark Hoffman, where do you live? Don't worry about 1G24. Don't worry about ridiculous puns. We forgive you. Pass the breakers. Do you know anything about Lamictal? I sure do. I know a lot about Lamictal. I'm on it. 100 milligrams. I've been taking it for 3 years. It's a good mood stabilizer. A lot of my clients are on it. Yes, I recommend it. What's your diagnosis and who's prescribed it for you? Another name for it, huh? Mark Calloway will look it up and let me know. Oh, I still haven't. Was it somebody's Storm? Mark Storm? I've read a number of books about near-death experiences. The one that was the huge bestseller by Betty Eadie was called Embraced by the Light. You know, I believe there's consciousness after death, but, you know, it can't be proven because even though they declared her dead, you know, the fact is her body was still, you know, around. And a lot of people think it's a hallucination you have based on extreme stress to the brain. So, so 1JE, I'm glad you joined in. I hope you feel better. And I definitely encourage you to find some sort of program that will help you moderate your drinking. So what do you think, Truth Seeker 1515? Do you believe in life after death? Do you believe in consciousness out of the body? Do you believe in out of the body experiences? A lot of literature says that it's real. Okay. Pearly Bonda from Oklahoma says, I want to share with all of you, I'm getting married April 7th. I'm so happy to feel so much better. I'm clear of the way they say. I have no more depression, just anxiety and derealization, but I'm working on it. So Pearly Bonda, can you tell people how how you got better? Was it medication? Was it prayer? Was it exercise? Was it you don't know? Let us know how you got better. One clear list is by JE24. Thanks for your jokes. You told some good ones. Thanks, Doug. Working on the automatic negative thoughts and replacing them. Have the books I recommended to you, Mike Bordner, by David Burns, the Feeling Good Handbook, have they been helpful? I'll figure that out when I'm dead. Yep. Pass the breakers, that's a good point. You'll know when you're dead whether near-death experiences are real. But in the meantime, are you taking Lamictal? How do you know about it? Congratulations, Pearly Bonda, on your feeling better, on your upcoming marriage. You know what Socrates said, by all means marry. If it's a good marriage, you'll be happy. If it's a bad marriage, you'll become a philosopher. Well, guess what? My first relationship wasn't so hot, so I wrote a bunch of philosophical books. One of them was called Words That Heal. Lots of congratulations going out to Pearly Bonda. Lan says, I know it's not exact science, that's what makes it scary taking meds. So Lan, this is what you do. If someone were prescribed to you something like Paxil, you take the pill, right? The 10 milligram pill, and you cut it in 4 parts and you take 2.5 milligrams. Whatever you get from the psychiatrist, score it and take half or a quarter of what the minimum dose is, and that will guard against a bad reaction. 200 milligrams a day, that's a healthy dose of Lamictal. Is it for your bipolar disorder, past the breakers? Do you feel you're getting better? Past the breakers, what if it's too late then? What if you have to figure it out now in order that your consciousness can persist? David Starkweather, I think the consciousness will persist if there really is consciousness outside the body, whether you believe in it or whether you don't believe in it, it will still happen. Holly Catalina, oh my goodness. Hey Holly, I was going to send you some business cards so you could bring them to John Kuzma. Do you mind passing them out for me, one or two of them to him? I still want him to let him know what I'm doing, and I don't know if Molly told him so. So nice to hear from you. How's it going in terms of finding a new house? Pearly Bonnet says, I'm not on meds. I take Complex B. Work out not much. I've been helping others, and I'm doing hobbies and just fighting with my own self. Well, good for you. You found other ways without meds? Fantastic. Are you keeping your name Pearly Bonnet? It's cool. So yeah, so here's my point. I did a number of videos on medication. So should you take medication? My advice is first try to use, the self-care methods I talk about in Healing from Depression. Exercise, diet, spirituality, prayer, structure, routine, positive thinking, and see if those work. And if they don't, then you might want to consider medication. But two people here, basically Pearly Bonnet and Leanne, have said they've been managing their depression without medication. If you can do that, great. If not, don't worry. Medication is not going to, well, I don't think it really harms you unless you take too much. Well, you can have adverse reactions. I had 2 of them. So you're right. It is tricky taking medication, but sometimes it can be a lifesaver. Jay Krishnamurti, who I know quite well, gives some fascinating talks about consciousness and the relationship between thought and intelligence and whether it persists after death. David Starkweather, Krishnamurti was a spiritual giant of the 20th century. Not too many people know about him, but I read about him in my 20s, so I agree, his talks are really good. And it says, as Perla, so you feel cured of depression? Depression is not a chronic illness. I mean, I knew that theoretically, but it sure doesn't feel like that often. No, Anastasia Perla did not say she cured depression. She just said she's feeling not depressed now. Depression is a chronic relapsing condition. And so what you need to do is when you're feeling well, make sure you're applying all your recovery tools so you don't have a relapse. So no, I don't think she said she had cured it. Nobody gets cured of depression. Remember, I have a video called Seek to Manage Your Depression, Not to Cure It. And it says you should look at that video. I'll type it right now. Spirituality helps and NAD counts do give hope. I agree. I would love consciousness to persist after death. Okay, so here's the video you want to watch. So look for this video on my YouTube channel. Seeks to manage your depression, not cure it. Had an out-of-body experience while on mushrooms. It's not fun. I don't recommend it. Yeah, no, it's not fun. I agree with you. Don't become a philosopher. It's a waste of time. Well, tell the philosophers that, David Starkweather. Pearly Bonnet says, Scott, my derealization is the same, but it doesn't scare me more. I tell my body, I'm in control, not you. My mind, I am in control. Okay, Anastasia, check out that video. Seek to manage your depression, not cure it. It's on this channel. Leanne, I think there's a difference between situational and chronic depression. I'm just saying I don't trust psychiatrists. Well, what about a nurse practitioner, Leanne M? They're usually women. They usually have a better bedside manner, and they're more humble. Think about that. I wonder if, David Starkweather says, I wonder if computer sciences will be able to upload consciousness to a computer. I don't think so. I'm not depressed now, no more, but it can come back. Just what's coming, not going to be scared of it no more. Okay, well, see, it can come back, but she's got a good attitude about it. Mike Borden says the books by David Burns on cognitive therapy are very good. Truth Seeker, I tried philosophy, has not helped, just more confusion. Oh, John K. still knows him running a support group. Tell him to refer people to me, for heaven's sakes. Thanks, Holly. How are you doing? Remember, we're going to take a walk sometime. The weather's getting nicer. According to Leanne M., nurse practitioners are worse than psychiatrists. Well, you're not late. You're only 35 minutes late, Daniel Pate from Texas. I want to get some more videos of your kids. Speaking of which, Daniel Pate, I'm going to send you an email. I want you to get this for your children. Laugh out loud jokes for kids. I want you to get this book for your children, okay? Oh, you meditate 30 minutes a day? It helps. Fantastic. What did the cake say to the knife? Do you want a piece of me? Boy, that's kind of cute, isn't it? Such an interesting week. Well, Daniel Pate, you have told me about this week and about the accident that happened outside your house, and you're having to go to AA meetings. Please don't try to be down on all alcoholics. A lot of them are just, they're just doing the best they can. But yes, drunk drivers, hit and run, horrible, horrible thing. Jeff DeLaha, another Patreon supporter. Hi there. Meditation does work wonders, says Leanne. By the way, no one has yet. Arcade Cup is not here, and neither is Kay. They usually will click on this little dollar sign here and the super chat and usually donate a dollar or two. I'm now trying to come into prosperity consciousness, so you could help me out by donating a buck or two to this channel, maybe even $5. Robert Teague has been very generous. He's actually donated $50 a couple of times. Okay, David Starkweather says, whenever I read philosophy, I understand it, but the whole thing all dissolves just a few months after reading it. Minutes after reading it. I like a sandcastle carefully constructed. Well, philosophy is very intellectual, David. When you're depressed, you don't need something intellectual. You need something to affect your mood, like exercise. My philosophy is, when I'm depressed, I ride up Rocky Butte, as I did yesterday. I felt great the rest of the day, except that it aggravated my asthma. Anna Scissors. Oh, I have a very concrete question and experience. I want to hear if anybody else has a similar one. So I've been in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, for 4 years now. About 2 years ago, my therapist told me about the rule that, and then I don't see what else you wrote. You got cut off. Anna Scissors. Oh, that you have to cancel the meeting 24 hours before, or you have to pay for nonetheless. And it's just, unfortunately, that's a very common rule that psychotherapists have. If you don't give me 24 hours notice, you're due. Now, in my case, I let people cancel 1 hour before the group. I'm not as strict, but a private practice therapist, they do have that. I can understand why, because you're taking up a space, they're getting $80, $90, $120 an hour, and they can't fill it the last minute. So that's the rule, yes. It's very, very ubiquitous, meaning it's all over the place. Mark Chan, how many tickles does it take to tickle an octopus? 10 tickles. Oh, like tentacles. Wow, that was bad. Thank you, Mark Chan. I love a bad pun. Rasmus A. Hi, Doug. Do you think getting an MRI of the head is beneficial when dealing with double depression? Unless they're trying to check for a brain tumor, I don't think it is beneficial. I have double depression. That means dysthymia and major depressive disorder. It's not going to be able to tell the brain chemistry, but if your doctor approves it and he's willing, the insurance is willing to pay for it, go for it. But it's not going to show you where in the brain the chemicals are not functioning properly, or whatever brain circuit's not working. That's what depression is about. Brain circuits not working properly. You're not going to see that on an MRI. Eat fresh food high in potassium, of course, especially good when you're doing exercise. Rasmus, not feeling any apologies yet. It's comfortable in talking about my situation by email. Hi, Doug. Do you think of getting an MRI? Oh, you've already asked that. Daniel Pate, you can interview for me that if you can do that split Skype thing. I don't know what exactly how to do it, but no one might. Yep. Yeah, I'd love to interview you, Daniel Pate. Yes, I agree. Passive regulars eat fresh food high in potassium. Good one, Mark Chan. Yes, your pun was really bad, but it was funny. That's right, Anna says you should have it in your counseling contract. So Denise Whitey is telling Anna Scissors that this is what therapists do. So the other day we'd scheduled a meeting. but I hadn't slept for the entire night. I've not been doing well. I fell asleep around 6:30 a.m., didn't go to work, and woke up just in time when I had, I didn't catch the rest of that anesthesia. So keep typing. Look, I'm very flexible and compassionate. If someone has a good reason for not coming and they don't cancel on time, I'll let it go. Anyway, anesthesia, I'm looking forward to you finishing your sentence. 40 minutes after the hour. One more time. Here's my Patreon site, patreon.com, Douglas Block. Nice to see you all on this beautiful Sunday in Portland. I'm going to talk to my friend Anne, who's in recovery from alcoholism and depression. By the way, I'm going to see the Oscars tonight. I highly recommend a film called Get Out by Jordan Peele. Anybody seen it? Let's get some recommendations. What were some of your favorite movies? I've not seen The Shape of Water. I haven't seen most of the films nominated, except I have seen Darkest Hour, and Gary Oldman will easily win Best Actor. Anna Scissors. So you fell asleep and you woke up just in time. When I had my CBT session, phoned her and explained the situation. This isn't the first time that kind of thing happened. Well, if you haven't given 24 hours notice before, I can understand that the therapist would want to charge you. Daniel Pate is invited to Pearlie Bonda's wedding. How lovely. Whose photo is behind you? That's a good question. An Indian saint named Ramana Maharshi. Look at those eyes, aren't they beautiful? He's written a couple of books, and he was a very pure being, so I hang him up for inspiration. The other thing I look at a lot, Julie Hayes has not been on the channel for a while, or not been in live chat. She made this for me. What do you think of that? From the Ashes I Rise the Phoenix. Anybody who's in a deep depressive episode knows that you can come out of it and you can rise like the phoenix to be reborn. Darkest Hour is a great movie to me. Absolutely, Mark Hoffman. Churchill was amazing. He saved Western civilization. I wonder if the younger generation even knows about him. Anybody under 30 ever heard of Winston Churchill? I'd like to know. Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'll take a plane down there if I can. Pearlie Bonda. Haven't seen the good movies this year. I might watch it. No bringing up politics, though, I hope. Watch Get Out. It's a horror film, but it's very political. David Starkweather says, after I finish this Krishnamurti book, I'm going to read about Ramana Maharshi. Yes, there's a very good book about him, a video you should try to rent. Wonder is a good movie. Wonder what? You mean Wonder? It's called Wonder something, Wonderlust, Wonder something. Scott Brewer, I've been having trouble with really suddenly getting so tired I can't fight sleep. When I wake up in the morning and feel exhausted, do you have any suggestions to help the quality of sleep? Taking trazodone before bedtime, which is a low-dose antidepressant, helps a lot of people sleep. Also, Remeron and Elvil. Talk to your psychiatrist. Winston Churchill struggled with depression, says David Starkweather. You're absolutely right. Very good. He built it by building stone walls. He also painted. Mark Hoffman says it's sad if they don't know about Churchill. I agree. One clear says, I used to think a lot of Churchill. Then I discovered he was a misogynist, didn't want to give women the vote. Really? Well, well, you know, he was a conservative. He wasn't perfect. One Claire Lou. So let's admit that. But he did deal with depression like we do. He did struggle with it. And he did give some amazing speeches. The cannibal joke, yes. What did the was this Mark Chan? What did the cannibal say after he ate the clown? Tasty? No. What was it? It tastes funny. That's right. Okay. Any thoughts on 5-HTP, Mark Chan? Well, it's a precursor to serotonin, to tryptophan. They make serotonin out of tryptophan. A lot of people use it It's helpful. It's a supplement. Like everything else, my friend, trial and error. What is Churchill? You mean, who is Churchill? Winston Churchill was Prime Minister of England during World War II, and he stood up against the Nazis when nobody else could, so he's become immortal as a result. Yes, Leanne. Dick Cavett, the famous talk show host, suffered from depression, even had electroconvulsive therapy or ECT like I had, and he's better now. Yes, a lot of really well-known people, artists, writers, poets, musicians, celebrities, they've all dealt with depression. It's quite common. Churchill is a mixed figure, I agree with you, but so are many great people. I mean, even Martin Luther King, who's one of my all-time heroes, he was unfaithful. The FBI, went ahead and bugged his room when he was traveling and being with other women. So Kennedy's the same way, right? There's no such thing as a saint, except maybe Ramana Maharshi, but he didn't run for political office. You missed what I said. Should I copy and repaste? Absolutely, Razma say. There's so much. People are giving comments so quickly here, I can miss them. Redo it. Thank you. Casey Smith, hello. Thinking all my mental might be tied now to Lyme or mold. Yes, Lyme disease is a common thing that people blame depression on. I haven't really seen any evidence of it, but mold, I have seen mold sensitivity, yeah. These are kind of iffy things, but if you see a functional psychologist, you maybe you can get some proof of that. But Lyme, do you live on the East Coast? Because usually the ticks that give Lyme disease are in the East Coast. Anna says, the bottom line is, I really feel hurt by my therapist. She knows what kind of person I am, that she can really let one pass. She doesn't have to teach me lessons like that. Well, you should talk with her. But how many sessions have you missed without giving notice in 24 hours? Has it been more than one? Oh, you're Mexican? Don't worry about it. Don't feel bad. Why would someone who's from Mexico know who Winston Churchill is? So I'm just letting you know he was a great politician during World War II. No, there's no worries about that, Pearly Bonda. Yes, I've heard wonderful things about Back to the Future trilogy, Flex Yard. I've only seen the first one. So in 4 years, are you saying, Anastasia, this is the first time you've missed an appointment in 4 years? I'm waiting, Erasmus, for you to repost your question. Scott Power, I've taken 5-HTP, didn't get any real results from it other than trouble sleeping. I've taken it before 4 or 5 times in 4 years. Well, I don't really know about that. It's really an individual decision your therapist is making. But if you feel hurt, you got to bring it up in therapy. Otherwise, you're going to carry that resentment. And otherwise, how is she as a therapist? How are you doing in therapy? Are you getting some help? I hope so. So, I'm still waiting for Rasmus to repost this question. In the meantime, shall we do one more joke? Why was the Scarecrow a good neurosurgeon? He was outstanding in his field. What did one elevator say to the other? I think I'm coming down with something. All right. I think many Mexicans know who Churchill is. Many Mexicans read history. Well, I guess everybody reads history to some extent, except Americans. I understand the rule and never complain about it. Okay, well, again, talk to your therapist about your feelings. Rasmus, I'm still waiting for your question. His grace is love. I love you. That's right. You sent me a beautiful, beautiful card. Can you touch on how your coaching program works and costs? Sure. So His Grace is Love. It's based on this book. You buy this book, and there are 12 weeks of recovery. Each one has a different tool. You read a chapter a week. You basically fill out the exercise, send them back to me. I go over them and give you a half hour to 40 minutes of my time, giving you feedback, and that's $50 a week for 12 weeks, about half the price of regular therapy. And everybody who's worked with me long distance has gotten better. I'm not saying I'm a magician, but it seems to work for people. Does that answer your question? Have you seen The Shack? Yes, a movie that understands that God loves you. I've seen it. I think it's a good movie. Is it hard to adjust after coming out of the hospital? Flex Yard. Fortunately for me, I went directly from the hospital to something called the Intensive Outpatient Program. 6 days a week, 4 to 6 hours a day of structure. So no, for me the transition was good because I went from one structure to another structure. If you are in the hospital coming out, please get into an intensive outpatient program. Dawn Elizabeth. Hi, Raphael and Danielle. Anesthesias. Haha, you like my joke. Doug, you need a new joke book. Well, okay, send me one, Claire Lou. Pearly Bonnet says, we study mostly Mexican history. Duh. How many Americans know about Mexican history? How many Americans or English people know about Mexican history? So you wouldn't expect Mexicans to know very much about American history or English history. Yes, there's a second part to a joke you told one of your viewers. Motivational guy buys a hot dog from the monk. The salesman, he says to the salesman, where's the change? And the salesman says, don't you know change comes from within? All right. Yes, so I gave you the answer. Debbie, sorry, how about some Stephen Wright jokes? Well, who's Stephen Wright? Send me a link, David Starkweather. The jokes are so bad but funny. I think, what did one elevator say together? I think I'm coming down with something. Come on, let's ask some questions. We're losing viewership. Our ratings are going down. Well, my therapist has been good, but the last 5-6 months I don't feel any progress as I used to. Well, don't think she tries like she used to. If that's the case, talk about her. And there are so many good therapists out there. My God, they're like mosquitoes. They're all over the place. Mosquitoes, maybe not a... How about ants? Of course, that doesn't sound very complimentary, does it? But no, there are many, many good therapists out there if the one you is not working. Wow. Yeah, why is your message not showing up? It's just not, I don't know what's the problem, Rasmus. Send me an email if you want to. DouglasBlock@gmail.com. Send it out. Well, we have 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Anybody going to give me a donation for this live chat? Come on, some of you must have an extra couple of dollars. Do antidepressants disrupt sleep quality? By the way, anesthesias, have you found the author of Self-Compassion? I think you were the one who asked about it. Yes, some antidepressants can be very energizing, Zoloft, Paxil, etc., and they can affect sleep, especially if you take them at night. David Starkweather says, yes, Scott, they can. He agrees with me. Looks like I lost an electron. I should keep a better eye on them. Flex Yard, very clever, very clever. You're just so simple and positive without trying. Are you referring to me, Anna Scissors? By the way, there was something called Edward Scissorhand, but you're not named after him, are you? And where do you live? I'm just curious. Anyway, if that's a compliment to me, I appreciate it. LOL, Flex Yard. Yes, I thought that was very, very clever. All right. Don't see my comments? You've made comments, haven't you? I can't understand why they're not showing up. You've made a lot of comments about how you don't need medication and you're working without them. What did I not see, Lan? I'm really sorry. I just don't see them myself. Nothing I can do. I wish I had some good, clean puns, says Mark C. There's this coworker of mine that feels compelled to tell me some dirty jokes at work. I don't know why he feels to tell me. Who knows? Well, you could always ask him. Maybe someone blocked it. No, Leanne, I'm the only one who can block stuff, and I do not block what you have to say. It's too important. So say it one more time and send me an email. I admire and appreciate all the comments you leave on the videos, everything you say here. So what I'll say to you one more time is that prescribing is an art, not a science. Sounds like you've had a lot of bad experience with prescribers. So if you can manage your own depression and anxiety without meds, go for it. If you ever need to begin, try someone else. Thank you, one Claire Lou. I appreciate that. It looks like it's £5. So you must live in England. But thanks for the donation. Much appreciated. You and I have had some conversations over the internet, over email. Linda says the positivity is a feature, not a bug. I have no idea what you're talking about, David. Oh, no, that's just a translation of my name in English. I'm from Croatia. All right. I think you mentioned that before. Don't they have a good basketball team? Somebody in that area has a good basketball team. Okay, translation of your last name. Thank you. Thank you again, Juan Claire Lou, for your generous contribution. Really appreciate it. You went right to the head of the class with that donation, Juan Claire Lou, right at the top. Thank you. And it says you remember it because we already had talked about it. Yes, we have. About the healthcare system. Oh, yeah, right. Thank you for reminding me. Razan say I'm going to post with another account of mine. Okay. Well, if you don't have a Gmail account, it's not going to take it. We have 3 minutes and 50 seconds left. Have you ever known anyone not to be able to function at all, says Casey Smith? Like overwhelmed by everything? Yes, my mother. My mother became catatonic when she got depressed. She'd sit in her room all day on the bed, just looking out the window, waiting for the cicadas to come at night and freaking out about them. I have another man who's a doctor who became catatonic and had to get ECT. I've known 3 or 4 people who completely were non-functional. One Claire Lou says me. I don't know what that means, but not a good question. How bad can depression get? Well, the worst that depression can get is it makes you harm yourself, but it can disable you so you become catatonic. Catatonia is a real thing. It's a phenomenon, and it does happen. There is no lowest point. You can always get more depressed. Well, what about catatonia, David Starkweather? I saw my mother go through it. Completely not functioning, just sitting, doing nothing day in and day out. That's about as low as, I think that's low. And of course, suicidality is even lower than that, which unfortunately I've had to grapple with 5 different times. All right, another cough. I apologize. I've had it bad this live chat. Sorry about that. Mike Bordner said, I felt really down at the beginning of my depressive episode. It was horrible. Scott Bauer with ECT, do you have to keep having it done or can it fix you in one jolt? Well, it fixed me in one jolt. It fixed the doctor in one jolt who was catatonic. It fixed Mary Ellen in one jolt, excuse me. Oh, that's a pun. Hey, I did ECT, I got jolted out of my depression. Very funny. But no, one session often works. Now, if it doesn't work, you can get maintenance ECT by having it once a month. Thank God, thank Goddess, that after my ECT treatment, I did not relapse or have not relapsed at this point. That was 2 years and 1 month ago. Did that answer your question, Scott? I was really bad when I was 27, pacing up and down the garden in my dressing gown. Horrific, yes. I did the same thing in the hospital one, Claire Lou. Are there lower points in catatonia? Yes. Suicidality. It's not posting it. I don't know why it's not being sent. I don't know either, Rasmus. Do you have a Google account? Maybe it's being blocked. I think it's being automatically blocked by Google. That's what I think is happening. There's something in your comment that Google thinks is not appropriate. That is the only reason. That's exactly what's going on. Are you just saying, what makes the sky blue, or are you saying something a little bit more provocative? Let me know. Otherwise, you can send it to me by email. Technically, I think a session is a few jolts. Well, no, it isn't, David Starkweather. I know about ECT. It's one electrical impulse to the brain, and it causes a grand mal epileptic seizure that lasts between 30 and 60 seconds. So the impulse is just one jolt, and the whole thing is done in a minute. And why it works, nobody knows, and nobody ever will know. It's not multiple jokes. I've done multiple jokes, right? Hey, it's 1 hour. I'm going to finish up. So let's read the final comments. Astronomers got tired of watching the moon going around the Earth for 24 hours, so they just called it a day. Very nice. Adam, you just came at the last minute. Can depression come with social anxiety? Getting a breakup and anxiety, even when my friend seems to be worse, although it's always been the background. What can I do? Go into a grief group. Breakups of relationships are the #1 cause of depression and anxiety. It will pass. Find someone to process your grief with. You might need to go on an antidepressant, but if that's the case, go see a doctor first. It's a definite yes to your questions, says Mike Bordner. I think there might be lower points in suicide. Suicide is just the jumping off point. If they hang out there might even be lower points. Well, I don't know. I've never been catatonic, so I guess I haven't been the lowest point. For me, suicidality has been and always will be the lowest point. Nothing bad in what you say? Well, I don't understand, Rasmus. Could ECT bring on epilepsy? I've never heard that one, Claire Lou. Neverend, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're sorry about. Aside from you're no longer a patron of mine, but to err is human, to forgive is divine. So, Rasmus, all I can do is say, email me the question. I do not know why it's not showing up. I apologize. It's an analogy. Imagine being trans in a country where they are killed, moving to another country to find freedom, then having difficulty getting citizenship. Best analogy. Well, that sounds like a really traumatic thing to go through. I'm sorry you're having to deal with it. I hope it passes. Thank you, Doug. Glad you're still going strong. Look after yourself. Thank you, Scott. I'm going to look after myself. I'm going to go, after this, I'm going to hang up in a minute. I'm going to go and have a hot fudge sundae. I'm going to drink a 5th of vodka, and then I'm going to smoke a cigarette. Nope, I'm not doing any of those. That was just a bad joke. I'm going to eat some healthy yogurt and blueberries. I'm going to take a walk around the block. I'm going to prepare for a counseling session, and I'm going to tell myself I love myself the way I am. I love myself the way I am. You're a good person, Douglas. You deserve love. That's what I'm going to say. All right. Well, it's been lovely hanging out with you guys. Remember, after I finish up, there will be a period of time when you can keep communicating with each other, and so do that. And I'll see you on Wednesday, March 7th. Look for my video on the social causes of depression tomorrow, Monday, March 5th. And I don't know what answers meant before 3. It has been lovely. Yes, David Starkweather, I always appreciate your comments. You really are someone who's very knowledgeable. Thank you. I do get some shoes from my dog drug dealer. I don't know whether he laced them. Oh, I've been tripping all day. Wow. Now that's funny, FlexYard. Not my exact situation. I'm looking for freedom, having difficulty with citizenship. That's why I'm considering suicide, because of the choice between living a lie with freedom. Well, I don't think suicide's the way out, Rasmus, because even if you're living a lie, you're still alive and you can still get help, and one day you might get free. So go see a counselor. Go find someone to talk to. Hang in there. Tana Gilbertson, can you please tell me the name? Oh, very funny. The name of what? Who are you asking the question to? I'm recovering from my massage appointment today. Thanks again, Dawn Elizabeth. FlexYard, that was very hilarious. Yes, Mike Bordner. He hit the nail on the head. I'm going to tell that one in my group. All right. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, Tana Gilbertson, about the name of what. If you want to ask me, douglasblog@gmail.com. Oh, the guy in the door. Oh, okay. You can get some beautiful images of him. Just type his name on Google Images, okay, will you? RAMANA MAHARSHI. Oh, one word. Let's do it again. Okay. Tana Gilbertson, there's the guy. Type him on the internet. You'll see, read lots about him. Get a video about him. That's what I would suggest. But my depression came from the hatred of living a lie. Authentically being my Authenticity is my top value. And then living a lie. Well, Rasmus, maybe there are small ways you can be authentic. Maybe you can be authentic to a friend or someone you're close to. But you can find a way out. When you're not alive, there's no way out. There's no way you can solve a problem if you're not breathing. So it seems like you're in a dilemma. I have compassion for you. Find someone to talk to who understands. Even if you can be authentic with one person, it's worth staying alive. All right. I hope, Tana, you get to look up Ramana Maharshi. I hope all of you have a great week. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. And remember, you can still talk to each other.